What a mouthful. That's and I wrote that, and now it seems really, really braggy. Yeah. Well, thank you for sticking around. It's Saturday, and I appreciate that you're still here for this last talk of the day. Like you said, my name's Jen Looper, and today we're going to talk about creating an engaging mobile app with NativeScript and Vue.js. And we have had a lot of mobile talks today. We had an interesting one on PWAs, interesting one on Framework 7. So it's kind of cool that we're seeing the full range of the types of mobile apps, of mobile experiences that you can create with Vue. That's very, very cool. Very cool to see. But first, I want to just talk about a little initiative that I created, and it's called Vuexens. And I'm just wondering if anybody heard this. I launched it a couple of weeks ago at Vue Amsterdam, which was this unbelievable conference in Amsterdam. So I was really excited by the excitement of people about this initiative. What it is it's modeled on initiatives such as Django Girls and NG Girls in the Angular community. So it's helping women and those who identify as women come and learn your framework of choice to build for mostly for web, but for me, I also want to teach mobile development. So it's free, full-day workshops partnered on conferences. You can visit us at vuexens.org. It looks like this. And if you are a conference organizer, if you know a conference organizer who'd like me to come and spin up a free workshop for some really foxy people, then I would be happy to come. So all you have to do is click the sponsor button. Okay, so vuexens.org. There we go. Okay. So who am I? My name is Jen, and I'm a senior developer advocate at Progress, which we just discussed. I'm also an ex-French teacher. So yes, I have a PhD in old French literature. And long story short, here I am giving talks about Vue. Life comes at you, yada, 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 20 years, and then bam. But yes, and I'm also the co-founder of the Wellesley Chinese Language School. I'm based outside of Boston. So you can all make me do impressions of our horrific accent. It's one of the truly, the gems of American culture is the Boston accent. But I can say that we have wicked, wicked ass and weather. It's amazing. I'm actually not from Boston, so I can make fun of them as much as I want. I'm from St. Louis, so where we have highway farty far. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about NativeScript. Mobile developers, who's here? Who's left in the room and are still doing mobile development? Mobile developers? A little bit? Great. We're going to talk a little bit about developing mobile apps. So what is NativeScript? Who's heard of NativeScript? A couple people. Ooh, very good. Yes, thank you, Chris. Yay. Well, NativeScript is a framework for building native cross-platform mobile apps. It's no compromise, gives you no compromise, smoothly animating native mobile apps for iOS and Android. As we say, it's just like butter, the animation. So very nice. But the bottom line is these are native apps that you're using JavaScript to build. So that's kind of an exciting new generation. We call them JavaScript 2 native mobile apps. The closest comparison would be something like React Native. I heard a React Native question in the back of the room earlier. So we're a little bit similar to that. They're a bridge. We leverage the runtime. Slightly different way of basically doing the same thing. And with NativeScript, unlike with React Native, where you're basically a React developer and you're building mobile apps using React, with NativeScript, you basically, if you know JavaScript, you know NativeScript. It's not like a different language or anything. You're able to just go ahead and use JavaScript, CSS, XML to construct your app. So you can use, NPM packages to bring these into your app and build, use them as plugins, create your own plugins. You can use Angular if you like. You can use Sass if you like that. You're probably going to need Webpack, especially if you use Angular, to get the size of your app down a little bit. You can use TypeScript or not, if you choose, or you don't have to use any framework at all. So that's one of the sort of differentiators between us and React Native. React Native, you're going to use, React. With us, you have some choice, which is really cool. And one of the coolest things that we've been working on recently is a community-based effort which is allowing Vue developers to use Vue with NativeScript. And I'm tremendously, tremendously proud of this community-built effort. It's a student in Hungary who just decided one day, that he's going to create an implementation for NativeScript using Vue.js. This is like, pennies from heaven. It's just, for all of us DevRel, we're like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Bring it down. It was really, really cool. And we launched NativeScript View 1.0. We had a big launch, and that was on the stage of Vue Amsterdam a couple of weeks ago. So that was really exciting for us, very on a personal level, really exciting for me. And what 1.0 means is a certain amount of stability that you can expect from this project. Stability is a good thing. We have very nice documentation that's getting better and better. We have a website, nativescript-view.org. We have some tooling that's going around this, and it's getting better every day. We're giving you templates. We're giving you a good getting started experience, nice developer experience that's coming along with NativeScript View. So nativescript-view.org is the site that you're going to take a look at. And most importantly of all, we have stickers. We have stickers, so you can grab another little sticker with this logo. I put them out on the table outside, so you can get your stickers. So why would you go and want to use Vue to build a mobile app? That sounds odd. Vue is usually building for the web, right? Well, the cool thing about Vue is that Vue 2.0's adoption of the virtual DOM enables native mobile rendering. And Angular 2 did kind of the same thing. And again, we're sitting here going, yeah, thank you. We can basically, since we're building native mobile apps, we're using native layouts. We can't leverage any kind of DOM manipulation. We can't leverage jQuery or any of this good stuff. We have to decouple the DOM so that we can do native layouts using our own systems for a native mobile app. So as long as you're decoupling the DOM away from the rest of the app, we can go ahead and use that. And they did that with Angular, and they've done it with Vue. So that's a huge, huge help for the mobile developer who wants to build native. And Vue also offers a great way for web developers to embrace mobile platforms. There is already a framework building this kind of app called Vuexens. I don't know if you've heard of it. I believe it's run out of Alibaba in China. So they have a lot of developers. The issue with Vuexens is that all the documentation is in Chinese. It's a little bit daunting. The getting it started experience is a little bit lacking. They use it kind of internally for what they need, and that's awesome. But we just actually got our docs translated into Korean, so I'm pushing hard for a nice Mandarin-speaking developer to get that translation in. And any of you good Toronto people want to give us a little boost? We would love to have our docs translated. So and maybe I'll do the French one. So, all right. But anyway, so yes, Vue gives this great way to embrace mobile platforms. And Vue is beautifully lightweight. What a lovely lightweight framework. It's just sunshine and light that you can, and it's very appropriate for mobile development. You don't want a big clunky framework when you're building native mobile apps. It's just not something you want. It's going to bloat the size of your app if you have something huge. We had another student. This guy is in Vancouver, and he did a Preact port for NativeScript just as a proof of concept. Another beautifully light, lovely framework that you can use for mobile. And then lastly, and this is kind of the frontier, but NativeScript and Vue have this wonderful code sharing potential. So you can use all of your Vuex stores that we just talked about, and a lot of the structure of the code in the background. You're basically building an app, and then you can fork the front end because you're not going to have that DOM manipulation available. You can go ahead and use NativeScript modules, stack layout, grid layout, all of those little XML style of modules for your native app, and then fork the front end away for the web so that you can share maybe 60%, 65%, 70, 75% of your code, and then fork the front end. I'm going to show you a couple of models of how we're looking to do this. This is kind of bleeding edge, really exciting. So how does NativeScript work with Vue? Let's talk about that. Well, NativeScript View is a custom implementation of Vue.js. It sits right in the middle. So it allows you to use all the awesomeness of the framework, and then it allows you to build for NativeScript. So on the web, normally you import Vue from the Vue package. And in a NativeScript app, you're going to import Vue from the NativeScript View package. That's one of the differences that you're going to be using when you're building a NativeScript app. So it's basically a different implementation, and it's presented to a NativeScript developer as a plugin. Basically, you just import that into your NativeScript app, and then you can start building with Vue. So it's a very easy kind of getting started experience. And there are 3 basic differences that you're going to experience when you're developing your NativeScript View app. And the first one is you'll notice on the web we have this element with the app ID that you're going to be injecting your code into normally on the web. So you always have this little L and then app or something that you've named div. Well, you don't need that with NativeScript. You don't have a DOM to manipulate. There's no injection going on. So you just go ahead and use the pieces of Vue that you need. You're going to have your store, use your router, and then you just render your app. So you're not going to worry about that extra little div. So the bootstrapping experience is slightly different. And the major difference is really the templating. So in this top example on the web, I've used Vuetify. So I have this kind of templates with the V cards and the H1s, standard HTML markup within the V card. That's using the Vuetify package, which is great for like making a nice responsive website. But on my NativeScript app, I have to use completely different markup on the very front end presentation tier. So I use a stack layout, which takes your elements and stacks them right on top of each other. I use a label module. Another stack layout in that and another label in that. So what's going on here is it's stacking and then it's using a label and then inside there's another layout, a little bit nested. But this is just to show you that the templating is slightly different. So that's another difference. Those are basically the three differences. You're going to bootstrap differently, you're going to use different templates, and then here you're going to, right here. You're just going to import Vue from Vue or from NativeScript View. So those are the three big differences in your app. So how would you get started building a NativeScript app? Well, there are a couple ways you can get started. One of the really fun ways is to fire up the NativeScript playground, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'll do that in a second. But first, I just wanted to mention that the most obvious way, like I said, you use the NativeScript View package as a plugin. So you just import that. You use TNS, which is the NativeScript CLI, to create an app, CD into it, and then install the NativeScript View plugin, and then you would start building. Now, this will get you a short way, and then you're going to start using single file components, and then you're going to need Webpack. So this is kind of this very, very, very basic way of starting. It'll get you a little ways, but you're going to need something a little more robust as we go forward. I'm going to demonstrate how that's done. But first, I want to talk a little bit more about the playground. So the playground is running in a companion app and a website. So you're going to be building your app within the playground on the website, and then you have a companion app on your phone that you can see changes live using this companion app. So if you want to go ahead and download the NativeScript Playground app, there's a couple of them. You can find those on the App Store for iOS and for Android. And maybe this isn't the great time to do that, but I'm just going to demo what it looks like. So this is the playground. I think I'm going to regret doing that in 1 second. I'm going to have to get back to my slides. Okay, so here's what's going on in the playground. So I've built this little demo app. And you can see how the markup looks. Now in the thank you, iPhone. You can see that we've imported the whole NativeScript View package into the playground. Now, this isn't the normal way that you're going to go ahead and build, but in the playground, that's what's going on. So kind of ignore that, but I want to show you the markup for the template. So we have a page, we have an action bar, your native action bar, and then a scroll view. Not now. Oh, always, really? Okay. And then I'm going to let me just broadcast my phone. QuickTime. New movie. I'm going to show my iPhone. Okay. So, I'll just go this way. What did you do in the playground? Oh my Lord. You just pop up a QR code. So I'm going to use my camera, scan that QR code, and then it's going to prompt me to open in preview. Playground. Oh, just wait. It gets better. It gets better. Okay, hello, FITC. So I'm going to make a small change here and just say, oh, hi, typing with one hand, and save, and watch at the top. It's going to shift quite quickly, and it's going to show that change like that. So you can see how this working in the playground will really get you pretty far, and you can speed your development very, very nicely. So let's do another quick change. I'm going to not really see my screen, but I'll just take this away. See how much we can speed it up. Quick, quick, quick. There we are, FITC. Okay, so these kind of things, you can really, and we've started using the playground actually in workshops and for just demoing, and it's a really great way to get up to speed quickly as you're learning the framework. So that's really fun. Okay, I'm going to stop broadcasting. That's the playground. Now let's see if it remembers. Oh, okay, good. I was afraid it was going to send me back to the beginning. Excellent. Okay. Okay. So that is the NativeScript playground. But the very easiest way to try, and I'm very excited about this because this actually just stabilized this morning. So here's where everyone, knock on wood, I'm going to try to go ahead and use this brand new template that uses the NativeScript, the Vue CLI, to create a mobile app. So let's see. So I have already NPM installed Vue CLI. We don't have to do that. So all I'm going to do is go to desktop. You can see. Okay. And then I'm going to do, I've had this stored somewhere, so it's Vue init. So this is still on the branch. It's not even hit production yet. So my dangerous app testing. Okay, so we're going to Vue init that sucker. It's going to download the template, and it's going to ask me for a project name. That sounds good. This looks good. NativeScript View application. Unique identifier. This is where I'd put like com, ladies first media, and then my app name. But I don't need to do that right now. Version, author, license. And then I'm going to say, yes, I want the router. Yes, I want Vuex. Okay, and it generated it for me. Now, let's cd into it. My dangerous app testing and npm I. Anybody know any good jokes? To install npm? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yarn also works with this. And it looks like it's stabilized enough that I don't have to use Yarn, so we can use npm. So I have some weird stuff going on here, but testing is binary fine. Yes, okay. So all I have to do at this point, I'm going to do something really weird. I'm going to do npm run watch iOS, and then I'm going to tab over and do npm run watch Android. And let's see what happens. So it's going to start searching for my emulators. Let's see if it finds me. No, I don't want iTunes, really. Oh, found one. Found two. So now it's going to install TNS iOS. So that's TNS is Telerik NativeScript. It's going to install the iOS packages. And so the first time you create an app, this is going to be a bit slower because it needs to install a bunch of stuff. Let's see what's going on here with Android. It's waiting for my emulator. Come on, guys. I just got my Android environment fixed up, so I hope it's still fixed up. Okay, installing TNS Android. Doing an Xcode build. So all of this stuff has to happen the very first time you run this. After this, should be a little bit quicker. And full disclosure, I have not gotten my hands around the styling of this app yet. So this is another community member guy in Quebec who is brilliantly working on this. But this is the branch. This is not even released. So anyway, so this is exciting because what this is using the same code base, scaffolded using the Vue CLI to build an Android and an iOS native app. So iOS is looking good. What's going on with Android? That's still working. Well, while we're waiting on Android, we can see how we have a Vuex store here, and we have a counter. So it's going to count -1, so 1, and it shows a little treat when you hit 5. That's exciting. So the router is being used when you go home. So that is fun. I don't know why, but the worst thing in mobile development, in all of app development, is the router. So it's great for me to see this thing working. Oh, tap me. Oh, it's a hello world. Okay, so tap. Oh, yes. Okay. This is exciting. It's running a full build, really? Oh, that's exciting. Let's see if it decides to come up. There it goes. Okay. So you can see that there's really no styling at all. It's just like the native iOS button, native Android button. It doesn't look fabulous. We're going to fix that with some CSS later on. But again, here on the Android, we have a counter. It looks a bit better. So -, +++. That's a Vuex store. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yay. You can go home. And then the hello component, tap me, get a little thing that needs to be styled. So there's plenty of work to be done here. It's not gorgeous, but it does work. The router works with Vuex, so that is a big win. I know this is not very impressive, but for me, it's just like a huge win because we got the router going. So bleeding edge, folks. Nobody has seen this live except all y'all. So I'm really, really excited that this worked out really well. So I can actually pull up the code that was scaffolded if you're interested. Not having touched it at all. So let's see, it went to my dangerous app testing. So what's going on here is you would start making changes in the source. You've got your store here with your Vuex modules, and I think there's just a counter module, yep, right here. And it's this familiar, you know, you're using mutations to increment and decrement that plus and minus, and then you're having things happen when you increment and decrement. So that's Vuex, and then the router looks very similar to a regular router. We have some page routing set here. Here's a couple routes that he's set here, hello and counter. So, and here's your components. These are all single file components. So it's all very familiar looking, you know, to us Vue developers. And the only thing that looks a little weird, perhaps, are these NativeScript pieces right here. Stack layouts, label. I got to get rid of that wrap layout. Every time I see it, it annoys me to death. I got to change that to a grid layout. So I'll get in here and make it look good. We'll get there. But at the moment, this is how this is working. And again, with the code sharing across platforms. Really, really fun. Okay, I'm going to quit all these simulators. All right, I'm so happy that worked. That's really, really cool. So thank you, Pascal. Okay, so here we are. I would love for you to put this Vue CLI template through its paces and see how you like it. Now, for this demo and for a Vue Amsterdam, I built an app that I always wanted to build, and it is called Elocute. So in terms of like a bigger project with, you know, a more interesting story than, you know, tapping counters and incrementing and decrementing, I wanted to build an actual app that I would have used in my previous life as a French teacher. So Elocute looks like this. So what it is an app for language teachers. Remember, I'm a French teacher, so. So what it is, and there's a whole lot of puns going on here with cute things because I like cute things. So this is the web app called Elocute.me, and it's live right now, but the mobile apps are not live yet because they're not quite, I'm not satisfied with them. But what you do is you log in here. I'm going to log in as myself. Use some Firebase auth. And then I have my classroom set up. So in this situation, I was a Dutch teacher. So I have a student enrolled in my class. I have some assignments, and then I have this particular piece of Dutch poetry that I'm going to ask my students to read into their mobile apps. So on the web, in Elocute.me, teachers are manipulating this website to create tests for their students so that they can test the language lab. It's Dutch, not German, but it's close enough to be freaky. Oh, yeah. And you know this, right? Okay, I'm going to demo this in 1 second. You can laugh all you want. Oh, yeah. So this is a little poem actually saying, come kitty, I have wonderful milk for you, and for me, I'm eating rice pudding. That's what the poem is about. So it's a little Dutch nursery room, and all the Dutch people are like laughing and rolling in the aisles. So it's very, very cute. Anyway, so the bottom line of Elocute is that it gets rid of the language lab. So remember when we're all learning foreign languages and you sit in the language labs with the big earphones and you talk at this thing and you feel like a perfect fool because you're like talking to a really old clunky piece of machinery? I'm assuming this is still happening. I have a feeling, right? Well, this is a nightmare, and it's hard even for teachers to get data out of this thing so you can grade it properly. So Elocute, for the language teacher, create your tests, create your texts, and then for mobile, the kids pick up their assignments and they speak into it using a speech-to-text plugin, and they get a score. So I have a little algorithm running in the back, and it'll give you the score of how close your spoken utterance is to the text. Now I'm going to demo this in a second. So, like I just demoed, the teachers log in, create a classroom, add students to a classroom, and then add their assignments. Oh, stop, iTunes. And then for students, this is the way the mobile app looks. So they have a login screen, they log in, they pick up whatever their teacher has assigned them according to their class. This person is enrolled in French 1, French 2, and Dutch 101. They pick up the kitty assignment, and then they speak into it and into the mobile app. So I will demo that in just a second. But first, I want to talk about how we built the mobile app, the web app. So on the web, I used the Vue CLI to just scaffold up the app. I used Vuetify. Anybody using Vuetify? I really like this package. You didn't love it? Or you're not using it, or you didn't love it? Yeah, it's really, really nice. It's great for nice responsive web. Firebase UI for authentication works really nice. Vuexens for state management, and then a nice Firebase backend. So the mobile app is using the NativeScript CLI, a Webpack template, that is quickly going to get deprecated, and I need to rewrite this whole thing, so I'm getting ready for New Orleans, and I'm going to have this whole thing rewritten. The NativeScript View plugin, which I've been talking about, Vuexens again for state management, and then a Firebase backend as well. It's the same backend, so shared. So this is real small, and I kind of have a doubt that you're going to be able to see much. Maybe if I go a little bigger. I don't know. Sorry about that. But I wanted to show you some differences on the web and mobile in terms of what routing looks like. So here, again, I import Vue from NativeScript View, and then I just do a couple of little different things on the router. So on the router on the web, I use mode equals history, so that gets rid of the hashtags, the hashes in the router. And then on mobile, I don't have this kind of issue, but I use page routing. So this is one way of allowing pages to be popped onto the stack of your mobile app. You can pop them on, and then you can pop them back off. So you might want to use page routing on your mobile app. Seems to work the best. And then there's a couple parameters I'm passing in the metadata of the router. So here on the web, I'm using requires auth equals true for the pages I want to protect. So I need certain pages to be protected, and people have to be logged in. So I set those pages to require authentication. You can do the same thing on mobile, no problem. I just wanted to mention that. But one special mobile thing that I'm doing on Elocute, the mobile app, is that I use hidden action bar equals true. So on some pages, I don't want to see the action bar because I made something really custom for the look I wanted for Elocute for the mobile app. So that's a little parameter you can use on mobile. So there's a couple little touches we've added into the NativeScript View plugin to make things work a little bit better on mobile. Another thing that using page routing helps you with on mobile is that it allows the Android users to use their Android back button to exit out of the app. So that's something that we need to handle. It's not available on the web. We have to handle it on mobile. So there's always some little use cases that you need to handle. This is one of my favorite slides because it shows with Vuexens there's basically no changes. You just use Vuexens the way you always would. That's really nice. So here I have my classrooms. I have my active classroom set for the page. I have my students and my user set. There's really, really no change. So that's really exciting. Now the Firebase integration, I'm sure you can't read this, but I just want to point out that on the web I used the Firebase Viewfire. I used that package on the web, and that works really well on the web. We can't use that on mobile. We have to use a plugin by Eddie Verbruchen, who has written a nice implementation of Firebase for using the native SDKs. So it's a little bit more verbose. It's a little bit, something you just have to do on mobile. So that's a little bit of a difference if you want to use Firebase. And then I just want to point out the styling. Of course, I'm going to be styling my H1s on web, and then on mobile, I'm going to be styling my NativeScript View labels that I'm using, and my action bar needs extra style. So there's some differences in styling as well. But I also use the built-in NativeScript core theme, which is a little helper to make your apps look a little bit better. I think we need to use it for our scaffolded app that I just showed you because it needs a little boost there. So. And then, like I said, the templates are always going to look a bit different. So again, I'm using Vuetify, so I use VFlex, VLayout, VCards, and VAvatars on web. On mobile, I'm using stack layouts, grid layouts, labels, images, and all these different types of things that you're going to need. And I want to demo for you Elocute, the mobile app. So here we go again. Okay. QuickTime. Yes, it can. Okay. I think it's a little temperamental. Okay, new movie recording. I really do want to demo this app for you, so I'm just going to be persistent. Yes. Okay, we can see? All right, here goes. Elocute, the mobile app. You can see my custom application navbar. I didn't want the standard action bar, so I hid that in that little piece of code there. So here we have me as a student. I'm signed up for French 1, French 2, and Dutch 101. So since I don't speak Dutch, let's just get my Dutch my Dutch assignment here. This is all coming out of Firebase, so it's nice and responsive. Okay, so here goes nothing. I'm going to start. Poesje kom eens gauw. Ik heb lekker milk voor jou. Eén voor mij. Rijstbrei. Oh, wat heerlijk smoelen wij. I'm kind of scared to get my score on this one. It's not too bad. So, I should ask you to do this. Well, the thing I discovered, this is the speech-to-text plugin, and you need to go slowly, just let it catch up to you as you speak. So, and it kind of autocorrects sometimes in a weird way. So, but there's a lot of fun things you can do, and the idea would be that each student would then be sending. You can do it as many times as you want. When you get the score you want, you send it back to Firebase, and your teacher is told how close you are, so that you can perfect your accent. So that is the mobile app. All right. Thank you. All right, quick time. Oh, Lord. Goodness gracious. Okay, let's see. So, into the future. The future. Real code sharing. So I've shown you a web app that I built and a completely separate mobile app that I've built in a talk that's supposed to be all about code sharing. So that's kind of a cheat. And sorry about that, but I want to show... That's... Wow. Okay, thank you, Mac. Real code sharing is coming soon. So we have been working on getting the developer experience kind of solid for the basic app development, but what I really want to push for as soon as this is solidified with a Vue CLI template, I really want to push to get beautiful code sharing done, and this is how we're going to do it. We have a template that's sort of halfway finished, and it's got a lot of webpackery going on, and as we know, webpacking is woohoo, yeah, so, yeah. But I did manage to build a little list of seals. I like seals. I like foxes and seals, and that's just a thing. So you can use the same code base with this template and build for iOS, Android, and web in one repo, and that's so cool, right? So you can be running your local host to build your website, and then you can have your mobile apps running next to it. So what I want to show you, and again, sorry, I hope you can read a little bit of this, but the way we're doing it is that we have two entry points. We have a file called entry.web.js and entry.native.js, and they have the different, imports that we need. Remember, we talked about how we always have to import Vue for the web and NativeScript View for mobile, so we require those in two completely different files. And then we have new Vue, and we do the templates that we need here. We build up the templates that we need here. We probably could get rid on mobile of the page and the stack layout piece and just inject app. That would be probably fine. So just a few little differences here on web and mobile. Oops, sorry. Yes. And then we have a file called app.vue where those experiences kind of converge. And we have a cool way of differentiating how you're building by having a template with the ID web here at the top, and template native right underneath. So here's where in one file you can have your web experience right next to your native experience, and you're kind of developing as you go along. And you can kind of break up your concerns. Here I just imported my seal gallery into my web app and into my native app. So it's just a different way of handling these two different files. And then I'm sharing the scripting, right? I'm just importing my seal gallery, and then I have my component seal gallery listed right here. So that works really well, and that's really exciting. So template web, template native. And then in your SFC, you can do the same thing. In your single file component, you can have your template web and your template native. In template web, you've got all your HTML markup. Template native, you've got your stack layout, list view, all that good stuff. Why do I have a V template there? That seems odd. Have to think about that one for a second. But I wanted just to show that we also support the single file components, because once you start getting into developing a relatively complicated app, you're of course going to need single file components. So you want to be able to handle that nicely. And then you're going to just fire up Webpack, and this comes with the template. So you have your Webpack doing its magic, and it's building for web, building for mobile by pulling out the pieces of the template that it needs and going from there. So it has its native config and its web config, and it's just pulling out the bits that it's going to use to build. So I just want to leave that there until we get it really, really solid, after which time I'm probably going to convert Elocute once again. So that'll be the 4th time. And I'm happy to field any questions you have about NativeScript View. Learn more at nativescriptview.org. The GitHub is getting a lot of stars and a lot of attention. After Vue Amsterdam, it was trending. It was really exciting. So you can also join us on Slack. The most exciting and active channel on NativeScript Slack is the Vue channel. It's really fun. And always want to call out the main contributor, this wonderful college student, Igor Ranjelovic, who is in Hungary and who is just killing it. And he's doing a great job as our core contributor to NativeScript View. And please follow me on Twitter, and I'll happily take any questions. Oh, yes, repeat question for audience. Yeah. To the app stores or to your device? Right. So we have tooling around that will help you. We have a... Oh, I'm sorry. I get it. We're talking about how any funny business that we have to do to deploy our apps to Google Play or to the Apple App Store. It's just like with any native app. You can grab your package. You can grab the APK, which is compiled by NativeScript, and post that into Google Play. Or we have some tooling around that. One of our bits of tooling is called Sidekick. And you can do your builds in the cloud if you don't have a Mac, so you can create for iOS on your PC, building in the cloud and deploying up to the App Store when you're ready to do a complete build. So we have tooling, or you can do it manually, and it's pretty straightforward. So thanks for the question. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we have the marketplace. This sucker. We have 600 packages for you, ready to go. Some of them are verified, like push notifications. You can develop your own plugins somewhat easily. So you're just, it's not something I love to do. I'm not that great at it, so I rely on the marketplace to help us with this stuff. But you just basically are relying on plugins. We also have NativeScript modules and NativeScript packages that are already built in, so some of that stuff you don't even have to worry about. Like the camera, for example, that just comes by default because a lot of people want to use that kind of stuff. So it's a little similar to the Cordova plugin ecosystem. And in fact, Eddie Verbruggen, who is heavy with the Cordova system, is one of our guys with NativeScript. So it's really nice. So yay packages, yay NPM modules, and yay plugins. You all set.
A lot of today has been focused on either emulating native events or trying to bring that mobile web experience closer to native development. If you just have a responsive website, you can already access that on iOS and on Android, just in the browser.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, I guess, what's your opinion on why is it that we're so concerned about emulating this native experience? And what is it that the native experience gives us that the mobile browser experience doesn't? I'm just wondering, in 5 years from now, our browser is going to be able to do everything sort of middleman applications are trying to achieve?
Yeah. It's a large question, and it's basically the so what question of my talk. So what? Yeah, so, well, so. It's funny because I was at a company and I talked them out of doing a native mobile app because what they really needed was responsive web. So I really think it depends on your need. Do you need to make sure that your gigantic web app works on smallish devices? In which case, maybe you start with your responsive app. But I think that at a certain point, a lot of companies are going to need special extras, all the things that the plugin library can bring us, all the special notifications. And I know some of this is coming in some browsers, and that's the point. They're in some browsers. And it's really hard to force one, we're seeing a lot of people being forced to use Chrome. That's a lousy experience, I think that at some point, it's nice to have that single point of truth, so that you can be sure that you're going to, give your users all the functionality that they need. So to get heartbeats, to get, to get machine learning experiences, to get things that they're going to need on these small devices. But that doesn't preclude the use of the web for an awful lot of what you're probably going to need, for sure. So it really, really depends on your use case. And I wish you luck in making that decision for your that decision for your companies, because that is a hard conversation. So I don't know if that was a good answer or not. So, any other questions? Web, mobile, PWAs, which is right in between, right? The great thing is we're pushing the web forward so fast that we have the ability to build so much awesome so quickly. It's really cool. We do not. That is a specific need that PWAs are going to be using. Now, the big question is, should NativeScript support PWAs? Should we be using NativeScript to build PWAs? I don't have a great answer to that question, and I didn't repeat the question. Service workers, not at the current point in time. Yeah. However, if you need to, service workers are basically so that you can work offline. And we have other ways of doing that. Firebase has a great way of working offline, so there are other options out there. So, yay, plugins. Any other questions? Where's my friend Bacon Juice? This is his username on the Slack channel, and he said he's in Toronto. No Bacon Juice. Man. All right, I did the call out, so. Oh well. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming. It's a really good day. Yay. Yeah.